We both want to know how to be happy. We need to figure out what our current plan is for how our lives should go. What does it mean to blueprint something? We have a story in our heads about how life should be. Some people's stories go like this. They work hard in school, become great, nice, and good, and then they take care of themselves as an adult, find the perfect man, fall in love, get married, have 3 perfect children, and live happily ever after. The old story went like this. You work hard in school, do well in college, get a job at a big company, work your way up until you're president or head of the company, and then you're successful and well-liked for the rest of your life. These stories are very old. It's clear that the stories we hear today about how people's lives should be are very different. Some stereotypes still exist, but not as many as there used to be. One of them is that many people think they need to accomplish a huge amount in order to truly feel like they're enough. There are different ways they could do it. Building a business and going public when they're 27 or 25 years old might be one way they do it. Another way is to find and develop a new technology or become a very good doctor. But in the West, society tells people that they aren't good enough unless they do something really unique and special, and we have interesting ideas about what makes something special and unique. A school teacher is not one of a kind. Not much is unique about a mother who stays home all day and night to shape her kids' brains, bodies, feelings, and future. These days, we pay teachers very little and treat them like they're not important. We don't understand why our kids have trouble learning, growing, or being interested in school. We spend a lot of money on things like computers, but the teacher, who is the person who has the most direct contact with the students, is the person we invest in the least. Many women look down on other women and say things like, "Well, you're just a housewife, you're just a mother." You see, part of the problem with our society is that we try to force everyone to follow a certain way of living. This is what will either make you happy or sad in life. It's very easy. Let's test it right away. If you look at your life right now, I'm sure there's something you feel really good about. Your kids must make you feel great, even if you're not happy with your money. Or maybe you don't have any kids if you're not close to them. You might be really happy with your job. If things aren't going well with your job, you might have a great body that you've toned or lost weight, or you really made your body the way you want it to be, or the way you want to look. If that's not happening, you might feel very close to God, your parents, your family, or something else. If you're honest and fair with yourself, almost everyone has something in their life that makes them feel great. What's a great thing about your life? Please give it some thought. What's something in your life that you could really be proud of right now if you wanted to be happy about it? This could make you feel like you're doing pretty well in the situation. There's still a place for you if you're really hard on yourself. What is a place? Please. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my whole life. How come? She asks. Because I have this man in my life, and I'm in love with him, and he loves me, and I can be myself with him, and we have this incredible intimacy and this passion, and we want to be with each other all the time, and I never get bored with him. What's her plan? You want to be with someone really close to you, someone you love, and who loves you back. Those are some of her rules, or ideas about how things should be. It turned out even better than she had hoped. She said, "You know, it needs to be. I never want to be with anyone else. I want to be with them all the time." This is how she thinks life should be and how she lives her relationships. You'll be so happy when it turns out better than you thought it would be. Then think about this. What do you not like about this? Let's try to figure out what makes people unhappy. That really gets you excited if the key to happiness is being able to meet or beat your own standards. But if you want to be happy, you should at least meet what you want from that part of your life. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if it's mostly what it is, you feel good. If your life matches the plan, you should feel good. What's wrong with you? What makes you hurt, stressed, or angry? It's really simple to figure out. What is something in your life that you don't like? Be honest with yourself. I'm sure you can find something you'd like to change in your life, even if it's great in every other way. Truly, people who are happy with their job often don't take as good of care of their bodies as they should. They often don't spend enough time with their kids when they're really focused on their bodies. For example, if they're spending time with their kids, it's not good for their relationship with someone else. This is because people naturally focus on things they're good at and happy with. They say things like, "I don't have time for it," when they really mean, "I don't feel very confident in that area." What's an area of your life that you're not as happy with? Really, it's good to look at things and say, "I don't like it, I want more." That's what this whole idea of a breakthrough is all about. How do I close the gap between where I am now and where I want to be? Here's where I want to be. Here I am. It's good for me to see that there's a gap that makes me want to grow, feel alive, and become a bigger person. What is something you don't like about it? Is that your body? Is it your money? It's your job, right? Is it your spiritual life, or the lack of it, that makes you feel linked in that way? Are those your kids? Where is it? Where do you want it to be but it's not there? Then take a moment to think about why you're not happy with that part of your life right now, today. Are you not happy with that part of your life right now? You can stop talking and write it down again. It could be useful for you. If you want to keep it going, just stop it. You'll start it up again, and I'll get into it. Do it now. Or if you kept it going, this is what will happen. This is something I have people write down, and they don't like it very much. Well, I don't like my body, or I don't like my finances, I don't like my career, I don't like the person I'm in a relationship with, I don't like myself the way I'm in relationships. For what reason? How people share with each other is written down. I want people to come. It's pretty clear what the lesson is. Before they do anything else, I tell them, here's how to be unhappy. I'll show you. If the way you're living your life today doesn't match your story or blueprint of how it should be, then you will experience disappointment, frustration, or pain. A lot of pain can come from having your life be very different from how you think it should be. You might feel stressed if it's a little different. Does that make sense? When someone speaks up, I ask, "Tell me, what are you not happy with?" They answer, "Well, I'm really not happy with my finances." I ask, "Why?" They reply, "Because I'm doing worse now than I was 5 years ago. I made mistakes in the market, and at this point in my life, I should have this much money, but I don't have it, and I don't know how to change it, and it's driving me crazy." You might ask, why are they crazy? Because they aren't getting enough money to meet their wants. You can have enough money to meet your needs and still be fine. But people go a little crazy when they think, this is what I need, and I did the wrong thing. My life doesn't match how I'm supposed to be. Take a look at it. Taking care of yourself as a child meant folding your own clothes, cooking your own meals, going to the store, doing your grocery shopping, cleaning your bedroom, cleaning your house, vacuuming, and taking out the trash. If you have to do those things again later in life, you won't feel like you're missing out on money because you don't have a maid. But if you grew up in a place where everyone took care of you and you never had to work, and now you have to work very hard just to pay your bills while food piles up, the house is dirty, and your clothes don't match, you might get very angry and frustrated because you have a different idea of how life should be than how it actually is. Someone else will state, "Well, I'll tell you why. Because I'm in a situation now where, I'm 30 pounds heavier than I should be." Should be is the key word there. There are people in all cultures who love being big. There are people that walk around and someone else might think they're massively overweight, but they'll go, "I own this, honey." And they really, truly, they match their blueprint. Big is beautiful because their idea is big is beautiful. I'm big, that's beautiful, matches my blueprint, rock and roll, I'm happy as can be. Someone else can look like a twig and be anxious. stating, "I hate my body," as their blueprint states, "I should be the skinniest thing on earth, and I'm not thin enough." Do I make sense? You will feel pain when your life doesn't go according to your plan, but this is when you hurt. A lot of people write down their experiences like Joaquin did when I ask, who here has been through the dark night of the soul? Who here has been in a situation where you feel like life isn't worth living, or you feel like a pain that will never go away? This will help you start to understand what I'm talking about. If you remember, Joaquin was with a man who felt like there was no reason to live. He was unable to work. He had no power. His life wasn't worth living. What made him think that? Because he knew how to do it. He stated, "I need to be an NBA basketball player, at least a professional basketball player. I need to be able to make money and have this great lifestyle, because that's what makes me worthwhile as a human being. That's what makes my family respect me, my mother, my uncles, my aunts. I'm the successful one in the family, and I make the money. I support everybody. He's a good person. It wasn't just for the money. He came to take care of his mother and family. He tried to give people hope. It was always Joaquin Hawkins's pleasure to spend his free time teaching kids and showing them the way to freedom, how they could play basketball and leave the city just like he did. This man wasn't selfish, but he did know this was the right thing to do. This is how you can help other people. Take care of your family this way. What did happen all of a sudden one night? He lost that way. He has a stroke in the early hours of the morning. He feels like he's not worth anything because his life doesn't let him be the person he needs to be. Do you get it? We know who we are. We have a story about how we should be, and when life gets in the way of that story, it hurts. We hurt, though, when we feel like we have no power over our lives. Some people get stressed out when they say things like, "My life doesn't match my blueprint, I need to lose weight," or "My plan doesn't work out, I'm not in a relationship, I need to get one." That might push you. You'll find a way to get one, even if you don't like it. You could say, "My career doesn't matter how it should be," but you can't do anything about it when you think your life doesn't follow your plan and you can't change it. That's when people are hurt. If you want to make a success this week, you should start to look at your plan. No matter where you're really hurting, hey, look, if you're doing great in some part of your life, enjoy it. I'm sure you are in many places. But really, life is just a bunch of growth spurts. Growth and giving are the two things that make you feel living. What's great about this man, Joaquin, is that he was always trying to improve himself. He was always trying to be a better basketball player and friend. He didn't give up when he didn't make the teams or the NBA. He did even more work. The guy was always trying to become something, and he did. Then life took it away from him. Isn't that what ties together a lot of the people and stories in these 6 specials? In other words, Frank and Kristen knew exactly how their lives should go. We're going to get married, have kids, and start our own business. Then life doesn't go as planned, and they become depressed because they thought there was nothing they could do. But they were wrong. They were wrong because Frank and they both learned that I can make a difference for my wife, the chair, even though I didn't make it or ask for it. This chair doesn't make me who I am. I can grow into a better person. I can make a difference with my wife. I can have kids. Our plan had to be changed because we couldn't change everything about his life. That makes sense, right? I couldn't physically get him to walk again. He might walk again one day, but we can't be sure. We can be sure that he will be happy when he realizes he is not useless. And I did that by giving him a lot of situations that went against what he thought he could not do. Almost everyone we worked with at some point agreed with this. In the case of Joaquin, it was also true. Joaquin kept thinking, well, I can't ever have this quality of life again because I'm not a professional basketball player. And sometimes we all get locked. On the other hand, we were able to get him out of that by following a set of steps. He learns that he can do something. because you can watch this. There are now only 3 options for you if you're hurting, your life isn't going the way you think it should, and you feel like you can't change it. One option is to find something to blame. That's what Joaquin did, in case you remember. He said that his teacher and what happened to him were to blame, and of course he couldn't change these things. But he put the blame on his teacher. If you watch the session, you'll see that a big part of his healing was his coach telling him, "Hey, you know what? All that anger and resentment inside of you, Joaquin, A, it's not based on the truth, and B, having resentment in your soul is like drinking poison and hoping that your enemy will die. It doesn't work that way." And when Joaquin was able to break out, it was a change in how he saw things. To see, this coach wasn't stopping me. I just felt like I lost everything, and so I don't know how to change it. So I'm looking for something to be mad about, someone to blame, so I don't have to blame myself, or I don't have to feel so helpless. Because when you're angry, you don't feel so helpless. You feel strong for the moment, even though it's a fake strength. Once he reached that point, he could stop placing blame. We've already talked about 3 ways to deal with life not going the way you think it should. You can blame something, an event, someone else, or yourself. Playing blame games will hurt you. There is no improvement. You feel good for a short time when you blame, but nothing changes. What do you really have to choose? There are only 2 things you can do. If your life doesn't go according to plan, you need to change it. You need to say, "You know what? My body isn't there. I'm going to go work out. My relationship isn't there. I'm going to change it. You know what? I'm not making what I need to make. I'm going to retool. I'm going to get a new skill. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to do something." You have to change your life. Another way to say this is that if you can't change your life, you'll have to change your journey. Most of the time, life needs a little of each. That makes sense, right? You can have an amazing life if you change your life and your plan. Once this man stopped being angry and denied things, he started to see things for what they were. By spending time with his family, he realized that he was important and loved, whether he played basketball or not. He really wants to play basketball, but he can't because he's not in the NBA anymore. We need to get Joaquin to change that. And Joaquin is a metaphor for all of us, because life will not always be like we want it to be or how we think it should be. Those times, if we blame, they hurt our lives. We can change our life and make it fit our plan if we do. But we also need to know when we can't do anything about it. We can change our story and standards for our lives in this way, by changing what that model really is, not by lowering them. I hope this makes sense. I'll show you something great. A long time ago, I worked with business people, celebrities, and regular people from all walks of life, and I was working with a group of people who knew a very, very important figure. To protect that person's privacy, I won't give you too many details, so they can't figure out who it is. But it would be a woman who was very successful, very beautiful by cultural standards, had a lot of close friends, and was highly regarded. That's a lot of great skills, abilities, and talents. They are also very beautiful, very rich, and have a lot of great friends. This is what most people would consider to be the perfect plan. That person must have a great life if their life fits that description. However, it was funny that this person, who was very popular, was always sad. The person seemed to have everything, but they were still sad. How can someone be sad when they are smart, strong, pretty, wealthy, well-known, and have lots of friends? It's really easy. Some people said, "I don't know what it is. Everyone is trying to help her. She's been to counseling and tried all these different drugs, but nothing is working. She's on antidepressants, and she's still depressed." This is a common experience, by the way, because if you feel better physically, but still feel like your life isn't going the way you want it to, and you feel like you can't change it, you'll be depressed. So I stated, "Bring it to me. I stated, "I can help her. I know that sounds like hyperbole, but I absolutely can help her." "Well, how do you know that, Tony?" "Because I already know what the problem is. I know if someone's depressed, it's because they feel helpless, because their life doesn't match how they think it should be. I just don't know what a blueprint is, but we'll find out what it is, and we'll either help her change her life or help her change her blueprint, or both. Shortly and quickly, I'll explain what's important." She told me she was sorry for the first half hour and said, "I know I should be happier. I know it's silly for me to be depressed. I don't know why I'm so depressed. I know I should be grateful for what I have." She knew she should feel good, however she didn't. I tried to finally explain to her, "Listen, I don't care about that. I care about you. The fact that you're not happy has nothing to do with what you have or don't have. The fact that you're not happy is that your life doesn't match the way you think it should be, and you have some idea of how you think it should be, and worse, if you're this depressed. After all this time, you feel like you can't do anything. You have no power to change it. You feel helpless." And she looked at me in a certain way, and I said, "So what is that? What did you want your life to be like?" She goes, "Well, it sounds stupid." I said, "That sounds stupid to me." She said, "Well, I don't know. I just always, since I was a little girl, dreamed that I would be married, and I would have 3, basically, perfect children, and they would love me totally, and I love my husband, he'd love me." And I said, "Okay, so how's that working for you so far?" And she said, "Well, I think you know, because pretty famous person." She said, "I'm divorced twice, I have no children, and, you know, I'm now X age. And to give you a clue, that age would be an age where having a child, your own natural child, at least, barring a medical miracle, the deeper desire or need." I asked her, "What if you couldn't have the husband but could have the kids?" She smiled and said, "I'd take that." I then asked, "Why not adopt your kid?" She said, "No, it has to be my own blood children." I kept digging to find out what her blueprint was, because your blueprint is just a mental picture of what you think you need to be happy. People, on the other hand, are generally bad at figuring out what will make them happy. We think that so many things will make us happy, but when they do, we ask ourselves, is this all there is? We also think that so many things will make us unhappy, but they do, and we can handle them. These things are hard for us to guess. This will be shown by many types of studies. I asked her, "Well, what are you hoping to get from these 3 children? Why do they have to be your blood children?" She finally replied, "Well, if they're my blood children, I know they'll always love me. They'll never leave me." What did she want? Love without conditions. White House, picket fence, 3 children, perfect husband, you know, all these different things was her big plan. But what was really driving her was a need to feel like she could have love that would be sure and wouldn't go away. That's why I can help her. So I told her, I said, "Well, maybe one reason you don't have a husband is because every time you look at one, you're trying to figure out if he's going to get you those 3 kids in time and how that's going to happen. And maybe he feels a little stressed when he's looking at him this way because he can feel what's going on behind your bed, even if he doesn't know what the words are." She began to laugh. She said, "I guess I've been there for a good part of my life." She also said, "People wonder why I'm so tense." I told her, "You're tense because you feel like you're running out of time trying to meet some picture. But all you really want is love." I asked her, "Don't you have a lot of love in your life? Tell me about your friends." Over time, I helped her see that the love she was trying to find was already there. The picture didn't match it. Could we give her a new picture of what life could be like? That picture would have to meet her deepest needs. That's pretty much what we did with Joaquin. Joaquin wanted to play competitive basketball because he loved the game and because he wanted to be a leader. It was important to him to be a good person. He wanted to be the one who made people feel alive. He would like for people to look up to him. He wanted to be the type of man who could take care of and dress all of his family, not just his wife and girls. He really wanted to feel like he was important. He started to understand that he didn't have to be angry with the world through the steps you saw on the show. He was told that while his design was taken, his soul and the power to be a unique person who could touch others were not. That maybe his real skill was motivating young people and getting himself to do whatever it took to become a great basketball player. Discipline and drive that are hard to believe. That's when things started to change, when he brought it to picking up trash. He began to enjoy himself there. He could pay his bills and take care of his kids when he got home. It doesn't solve everything, but it gave him a way to feel like himself again when he was with his family. You saw some of those scenes. You can see more scenes of his family this week if you watch little bits of browsing. In them, he starts to understand that they love him, no matter how much money I have or how little. They're in love with me, with a professional basketball player, not. They care about me. That's what he really wanted. That gave him the freedom to let go and say, I can do other things. But that doesn't mean he won't face problems. The things we do in life will test us all. He doesn't mean he won't yearn to do more sometimes, but he's no longer stuck. He's now broken through because he knows I'm in charge. I have the power to change either my life or my plans. I will be able to do it when I do. I can feel that life coming back. This is the trap. What do you think will happen when you usually follow your blueprint? When you learn how to do what you've always wanted to do? You've always wanted to live in a certain way, and now you do it every day. The human nerve system and mind need to grow, though. It won't take long before you get tired of that and make a new plan. That's a fun part of life. Remember what we said: if you and I want to be happy from now on, you need to grow and give. Life has value when I feel like I'm growing and making progress, and when it's not just about me, but about we, doing something that connects me to other people besides myself. We all have a deep spiritual need that is met by growth and a sense of contribution. You have 3 options if you are unhappy with your life. The first 2 are to blame yourself. You can't do that. It's not going to work. Don't point the finger at someone else. Don't blame what happened. Do not blame yourself. Plan out how you're going to make your life better. That's what I do best. Come hang out with us if you like the way I or my team teach. Go to an event. Get a coach here. Come to a class, and we'll walk you through it for longer than just a few minutes. We'll do it in a setting that will shift you or change your plan. What's going on inside you will need to be rewired, and that's what we also do. I hope this trip has been fun for you. I hope it helped you see what you need to do to get where you want to be. You need to change the way you feel, which will bring presence into your life. You need to put your life in perspective and realize that you don't have as many troubles as other people do. You have to be able to deal with the big stresses in your life by questioning the ideas that hold you back. Again, if you'd like, we can teach you and show you how to change those in a way that makes them happen easily, like pulling weights over and over again until you have the strength you want and can keep it up. You need to know how to handle a problem and make things better. You have to face your fears. You have to push through the things that used to stop you. You have to put yourself in a place where you can connect with things that are more important to you than yourself. And I think it's also important to know that you're more than whatever is happening. There's more to you than the story you think it is. There might be a reason why you're not being what you think you should be when you're not. Is it possible that you need to find a different part of yourself that will truly satisfy you? Sometimes, failure to reach your goal makes your fate clear. Over the years, I've known a lot of people who had plans for their lives but didn't come true. They were unhappy, angry, and frustrated, and then one day an opportunity came up, and they thought, "Oh my God, thank God that didn't happen." I think Garth Brooks had a great song about a high school romance where the girl he loved didn't even know he existed. Every day he prayed to God that she would see him and fall in love with him. As it turned out, she never did. He was really upset. His plan didn't work with his life. It didn't match because she didn't know he was there. He knew what it was like to suffer. There was nothing he could do to fix it. After 15 years, he changed his name to Garth Brooks and became a well-known artist who could rock crowds with his energy, song, and music. He then goes back to being his high school reunion. If I remember right, it was his 15-year gathering, but I don't remember the exact year. All I remember is that he said he saw that woman he was crazy about. I was excited to see her. He changed his name to Garth Brooks and met her. After spending some time with her, he wrote a song called "Thank God for Unanswered Prayers." Sometimes not getting your blueprints is the best thing that ever happened, because the disappointment makes you find something more important inside you. Not getting it makes you look for another part of your life, whether it's spiritual, family, or physical. Everything that happens in your life is meant to help you reach your goals. If you believe this, you can find the good in any situation and take your life to the next level. It doesn't matter if you're Paul and Frank. It doesn't matter if you're Mandy and Scott. It doesn't matter if you're Kim and Joaquin. Everybody will go through times in their lives when they feel like they've been completely traumatized or like something has been taken away from them. What are you going to do with it? That's the real question. It's okay for some people to live in their story of what they don't have. We would all say they should do it if it hurt them and made them feel bad. It's the difference between what you can do and what you should do for yourself and other people. No matter what happens to us, we can rise above it. Post-traumatic growth is a term that not many people know about. When people are under the same amount of stress, one breaks down and the other grows. What is the difference? People who grow won't give up. They don't have a reason. No matter what, they find a way to get through. 3 things happen when they do. First, they know what they're really capable of and who they are. It hits them that they're much stronger than they thought. Second, they make all of their ties stronger. You want to know who loves you, cares about you, and cares about you. Go through some bad things that happen and some tough times. All of your Facebook friends are leaving you. When you show up for your real friends and family, they show up for you too. This makes your relationship stronger. Third, if you can push through and get past the problems that life throws at you, you get stronger each time. And it's almost like it builds up a psychic defense against things that happen all of a sudden, you know? Things will happen and you won't be afraid of them anymore because you've been through a stroke, lost some body parts or feelings, or lost a family member and made it through it. You get to the other side. Life, give me your best shot. It's almost like a mental defense that says, I'm ready for whatever life throws at me. I don't want problems, but if they come up, I know I can handle them. That spirit of strength is what makes life feel free and joyful, and that kind of spirit power comes from always looking for ways to improve yourself and help other people. My job is to do that. I hope you'll check us out again if we can help you some more. You can keep taking part with us in 3 different ways. There are events you can attend, or live events like Unleash the Power Within or Date with Destinies that you can have with us. It's not the same as just talking to you quietly in front of your computer screen, I think you'll agree. It's a rock and roll setting. It's the difference between going to the ballpark and having one person talk to you and going to the ballpark for a rock show with 50,000 other people. It gives off energy and power. The second thing is that this is immersive. We talk for 1 hour. Emails and other things can get in the way. There, it's all about focus, and we aim for immersion, where what we did here for 6 weeks, a few small conversations, happens over and over again, several times a day, and you feel that shift. So call or go to an event and get a coach. You can work with someone for free and make sure it's really helpful for you. These are people who can check in with you to help you break through and make the changes you want to make in your career, your finances, your body, your emotions, or any other area that's important to you. Finally, and most likely most importantly, you need to feed your mind every day, because most of us are reading some kind of news every day. It's in our pockets, on our Blackberries, on our iPods, or even on our iPhones. It always shows up on your screen, you know. It's after us, and a good idea doesn't usually get in the way. Really, what you need to do is go after the ideas and experiences that will change your life. We have a way to help you do that called net time, which means no extra time, and means that you can keep giving your mind the things that matter with our goods and services. If you're interested in any of those things, make sure to click on the event or free coaching session that interests you, or maybe try one of our audio programs. The other problem with video is that you might have to sit here and watch me, but with audio, you can do it while you're working out, cleaning the house, driving to work, or anything else. We'd love to keep helping you in any way we can. I know this is a long session, but I want you to really think about how I can make my life better. I do it by making changes to my plan based on what I learn from life. When I make changes to my life to fit my plan, all of a sudden it feels full and alive. Thanks for the time we had here. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope this breakthrough series has helped you remember to always be the best you can be and share what you have with others. Live strong, love what you do, and may God bless you.